Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It wasn't even a day, so I did come back this day, technically, right? Within 24 hours. It's already Thursday here, but that doesn't count. The gift that keeps on giving, Bethesda Studios stepped in it again, right? At least at least they're not trying to gaslight us on how terrible our PCs are because we can't run their broken ass game. So you may have known, but recently, or in the span of the game having come out, the recent reviews and the all-time reviews on Steam went to mixed because let's be honest, Starfield not so good. Go watch my video on it if you want to see what I think about it. Uh, it's like a 4, all right, not so good. I'm gonna say Todd Howard didn't like it. It's probably not Todd Howard, but he's the company man. He's the head of the company. He's the face of the company. Deal with it. Todd Howard didn't really like that much. Let's scroll down to the reviews and see something really interesting. What's this now? Interesting. Developer responses. Let's go through them, shall we? I played for 75 hours because I needed the dopamine fix. Looking back, it's a boring story in a boring world. Also, I cannot get over the one mission I thought would be awesome. Finding a ship launched from Earth 200 years earlier with the offspring of the original crew, finally finding humanity. And they have the same computers with the same operating system on their ship as the rest of the universe. Why? This is a real good criticism, by the way, right? They couldn't even give you that amount of credit that you wouldn't realize that the ship that left 200 years ago has the exact same uh, computers and layout of contemporary ships that are flying around right now. That's a big one, by the way. That's like a really big mistake. Let's go through the next one. A game about space in which your ship is nothing more than set dressing for storage containers and an optional, extremely simplistic arcade-style minigame where you fly your ship in a line while holding the trigger long enough for every AI to blow themselves up by flying directly into your path. 100% true criticism. I'm not gonna read all of this, but none of these criticisms, I've read them before, none of these criticisms are actually like in any way wrong, right? A game bursting with content in which each outpost and mission are functionally the same as the first 10 you play, and then you'll ask to do them all 100 plus time with almost zero variation. This is objectively true. After the first 20 hours, Starfield practically begs you to save yourself 120 gigs and forget it exists. Again, virtually true. Like, everything feels the same. You go to the one planet, like, oh, you can go to 1,000 plus planets. Yeah, but all the planets are the damn same. There's nothing on it. You run a little bit, get to an outpost, potentially shoot everyone if the outpost is hostile, and you'll see that same outpost dozens of times, right? It's just copy pasted. Okay, if you give me 1,000 planets, and every single one of them feels like the first planet that I ever went to, then what's the point? All right, give me 10 planets, make them like give me 10 Skyrim-sized planets, and you would have made the best game ever. All right, it was that simple. So all of these, actually, this one and this one are super small, and the responses to it is kind of funny. It's copy paste for two of them. The third one was kind of different, but it's kind of copy paste too. But let's get into the response, right? Let's get into the gaslighting. Hi, from Bethesda Falco Yamaoka. Hi, we appreciate you taking the time to provide your review and sorry to hear that you did not enjoy your time in Starfield. If you feel that things are getting boring, there is so much more to do than just the main mission. Not really. I mean, there is more to do than just the main mission, except it's the same thing over and over again. There are many side missions where you can learn more about the people and story of Starfield. You can take time to explore various planets for resources and items. Break the law by smuggling and selling contraband. Build your own outposts and starships and customize them to your enjoyment. There are many things to do, and you can visit our Discord for further ideas from other players. So they're shilling already for their Discord now? To be fair, that's normal, right? can give them a pass on that. Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Most quests will also vary on your character's skills and decisions. This is, in my opinion, a bold-faced lie. You will never massively change the outcome of your playthrough. You will... Most of your character skills are utterly useless. And by the time you actually get to them, you're already so high in level that it's like... It's just... It's not a fun progression. There's no fun progression to be had in Starfield. It really feels like the game like stops you from progressing properly every time. You just need like, oh, you need this special skill. You want to do, for example, lockpicking, right? It's kind of like in Fallout, where you have like, you just go down the list to get the thing you want, and then you can open all of the locks. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, but to get to that thing, you have to like go through the entire tree. So you're already spending like 8 fucking levels just getting the damn lockpicking. It's... I didn't like how the progression was done. Besides the point, sorry. I'm going on a rant because I really didn't like Starfield and I was a Bethesda fanboy, right? To a degree. So I'm still pissed about it, to be honest. Try creating different characters with backgrounds and characteristics that clash or are opposite of your previous character. You will feel like you are playing a totally different game. Put points in different skills from a character you've previously created, and you are now faced with completely different decisions to make and difficulties to encounter. It's not, again, this is just not true. There are so many layers to Starfield. No. There are a lot of fish bowls in Starfield. Layers, not so much, right? Go to a place, talk to people, maybe shoot them, rinse, repeat. It's not that complicated, guys. That you will find things you've never knew... What? That you will find things you've never knew were possible after playing for hundreds of hours. Who wrote this? Jesus. Even after completing the main story, your adventure doesn't end. You can continue on to New Game Plus to do the same boring thing over again. Sorry. To keep exploring Starfield and all that is out there. To provide feedback to development for Starfield, please feel free to use this form here. No, he already used this form right here. This is this form. This is the feedback. Thanks again, and we hope you return to your journey through space soon. Somehow I doubt it. Right? Like, they're giving you negative reviews, bro, and this nonsense is your response. Terribly written, I might add. In the comments, people are saying like, "Oh, AI wrote this." I'm not sure AI would make these dumbass mistakes. Like, you've never knew were possible. You will find things you've never knew were possible. And the fact that they missed I don't know where it was. Like, there's a couple of errors, grammatical errors, and stuff that I don't think an AI writes. I think like an actual human being wrote this. He might have been high or drunk, right? But would an AI make those mistakes? I don't know. Let's check out the next one. Sorry, I'm going off topic. Boom. This was a more in-depth. Thank you for taking the time, blah blah blah. You were disappointed with encountering many loading screens while playing. While there may be loading screens in between fast traveling, just consider the amount of data for the expensive gameplay that is procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds. We believe that shortcoming will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world we created. There are many games that do not have the amount of loading screens that Starfield has, but still have the depth of it. Or they disguise the loading screens in some interesting way. Like, I'm fairly certain if you go from, in No Man's Sky as an example, if you go from space onto a planet, which you can just fly onto, by the way, there's no real loading screen. Like, obviously there's a loading screen when you enter the atmosphere. You can see it load, obviously, right? It's like, it takes like a second or two and then you're off. Much more interesting than just looking at a fucking loading screen with nothing on it and a bar moving, you know? Like, even the loading screens you fucked up. Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Most quests will also vary. This is the same spiel. Like, this was literally just copy pasted. again with the new game plus, so you can do the same boring shit all over again. Like this basically says like, oh, your game is like really boring and brainless, and they're like, oh, but did you know you could play it again? I'm like, okay, dude, thanks, helpful. Again, the same thing to further feedback to development. This is your feedback, guys. This is your feedback. All right, get the fuck out of here with your bullshit link. Oh, I just saw the top comments. Play our shitty game, but twice. That's exactly what he said, right? Like, oh, I hear you. You think our game is boring, lifeless, and there's nothing in it? Yeah, that's fine. But did you know you could play it again? Like, this is so stupid, man. Who wrote this shit? Somebody needs to get fired over this. All right, this is like unacceptable. Boring, empty, soulless, unpleasant to play. Todd told me I'd be exploring space, not fast travel menus. You don't really explore anything at all. You just teleport from desolate waste to desolate waste. Then your spaceship sets down a 15-minute walk away from the copy-paste POI you've been fetch-quested towards. Every jump space bandit has 3 health bars, infinite empty planets to aimlessly wander across. All of this is true. Dungeons and caves don't just have no rewards, they have no enemies. Dead-eyed NPCs blather at you with dialogue as wordy as it is boring. Quests range from tedious to nonsensical. Space combat is so disconnected from everything else, it's practically a different game mode. The game's design is so fundamentally flawed that I don't think the modding community will be able to fix it. Every element of the game is disappointing, and on top of that, it's ugly. The only envelope this game pushes is the fidelity of its clutter objects. The Bethesda magic is gone. Again, I agree 100% with this person. Nothing this guy says is inaccurate or in any way. Right? Let's read the response from Bethesda. I don't know why they responded this way. Like, how do you not know? You're stepping in a giant pile of shit by being so tone deaf and brain dead. Like, it baffles me, man. It would have literally been better had you just ignored everything and shut the fuck up. Alright? Like, for real. Thank you for taking the time to leave a review for Starfield. Understand your frustration with fast travel making the universe feel much smaller. What review did you read, bro? This is not what he said at all. It's not, the universe doesn't feel small, the universe feels big. It's just boring, lifeless, soulless. That's what he said. Literally, boring, empty, soulless. Oh, I didn't mean to, like, beat for beat copied what the guy said, but it was in my head probably, that's why. But what? See, this is what we mean when we say Bethesda and Todd Howard are just brain dead, because they're going on about shit that we're not talking about, right? This is like some political shit where you're like, you don't argue your opponent's points because you lose on that. You argue what you want him to argue about. You know what I mean? You argue the point you wish he made, not the one he actually made. This is classic debate tactic. Given the immense size of Starfield, nope. We felt it made more sense to be able to use your grav drive to jump to other solar systems. The option to fly freely among planets is still there, and you can travel from one planet to another and land without needing to open your map if you use your scanner. AKA, you still do a jump, you still do a fast travel. Like, you're just using a scanner instead of opening the map. Like, oh my god, the diplomatic speech here is just utterly revolting. I hadn't read this response yet. This one is the worst so far. And we're only 4 sentences in. Holy hell. However, for an expedition like solar system traversal, jumping is necessary. Remember that fast travel also has its perks, as you can do so quickly when trying to complete quests, and will always be given visual of your ship launching and landing, which is literally just another load screen. Right? And you can't even skip that shit. So you're stuck watching it every single time. It gets really boring really quickly. Bethesda, like really quickly, okay? The first 10 times I can deal with it. The next 9,900, not so much. We are sorry that you do not like landing on different planets and are... Oh, sorry, I skipped something. Blah, blah, blah. Thus, being able to appreciate all the little details that make your customized ship look unique. We are sorry that you do not like landing on different planets and are finding many of them empty. This is such gaslighting. Oh, you don't like landing on different planets? No, we don't like landing on different planets because you fucked up and your game is garbage. All right, there's nothing there, nothing interesting. You couldn't even be bothered to give us interesting planets. We have like two, you know? The intention of Starfield's exploration is to evoke a feeling of smallness in players and make you feel overwhelmed. While you failed miserably at that, because we're hardly overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed with all the nothing. Right? These responses are brain dead. You can continue to explore and find worlds that do have resources you need or hidden outposts to look through, except you've seen the outpost 5 different times already. To keep Starfield as dynamic as possible, NPCs are not fully scripted, so weirdness can ensue sometimes. The goal is to make believable characters on the screen with realistic reactions to your character. Cue the clip of me shooting accidentally next to a police officer and nothing happened. Police officer didn't even look at me. So yeah, another lie. NPC AI has been improved with the Move to Creation Engine 2 that has radiant AI enhancements that allows for dynamic interactions within the game's various environments. If you feel that, same, and then all of a sudden, all of this is the same shit. Many side missions, build your own outpost in Starship, even though they gutted that. Like, it's really bare bones and boring and soulless. Never stop exploring. Yeah, everyone stopped exploring like weeks ago, bro. There's a reason your game is now mixed. There's a reason only 59% have positive reviews. That's 41% negative reviews, all right? And I feel that's like on the low side. Like there's a lot of the reviews I feel like are from people that kind of bought into it, right? And maybe by now they're like thinking, maybe other people had a point, right? Like I get it, right? I get it. If you're a fan of something, right, and you're looking forward to something, and you really want it to be good, and it's garbage, you might make excuses for why it's not garbage, right, and why you didn't waste your money. But let's be honest, we all wasted our money. It's totally trash, right? And it's not improved by now seeing what the developers think about their community, right? Like it would have been better if they had just kept their mouths shut, right? Just ignore the negative reviews. And then just to have just these three singled out for a developer response, it's weird. It's weird. It's a PR disaster, 100%, right? I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but yeah, Todd Howard stepped in it again. Oh, at least it's not that idiot gaslighting me to my face. Oh, maybe your PC is shit. We're really pushing the envelope. Oh yeah, you really are. You're totally pushing the envelope with your shitty game that looks 8 years old, has 8-year-old bugs, and is basically running on an engine that's 20 fucking years old. Like, okay, dude. All right, bro. Okay. Your game sucks. All right. And people are starting to find that out. And you're panicking now. Honestly, someone needs to get fired over this. This is the dumbest shit you could have done. But thanks for giving me content. Peace the fuck out. See you later. Also, one more thing, because there were on the last video for Todd Howard and Bethesda, there were a bunch of guys in there. I don't own consoles, all right? I don't give a fuck about your Sony Xbox war. Like, get out of here with your peasant shit. Like and subscribe after I called you peasants. Peace.